Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Teresa, and today I wanted to talk about another collaborative photo shoot that Amanda and I did. If you watched my video back from October, that's when I first met Amanda. So just like last week, she texted me and told me that one of her subscribers had asked her if she and another girl could blow up some inflatables and then pop them in this custom video. Fortunately, we live relatively close together, not like so close that we can hang out every day, but when we want to get together and film some content, it's available. We had both heard about this fetish, but neither of us had ever had somebody request this kind of content before, so it's kind of interesting. We got to make some content for someone who is a Looner, which means that they are aroused by like inflatable objects. I had heard of this fetish before, like I said, so had Amanda, but she had seen like a TLC special on it, and the man was like in love with his inflatables and didn't want to pop them. So that was the difference between that guy and our subscriber who was requesting this custom content, is he wanted us to pop the balloons. Like, we were supposed to blow them up and then kind of like bounce on them a little bit and then struggle to like pop them. And so we were like kind of trying to figure out what about this turns people on, because it's not like this is the only person who has this fetish. I know that Lydia Love posted probably like a year ago, one of her What the Fetish videos is about Looners. And I had seen she posted it, but I never watched it because like it doesn't really affect me. I'm not a Looner. I have never had a subscriber who's a Looner before, so I never actually watched it. But we had to run to the store and pick up an electric pump because literally like 30 minutes before I got to Amanda's house, she started pumping all of these inflatables up with like an arm pump. And two of the balls we got were like 50 something inches. So by the time I got there, she was only like a third of the way through it and there was no end in sight. This was like the first one she had gotten to. So we ended up going to the store and getting an electric one. And on this little excursion, I turned on the video by Lydia Love so we could kind of understand more what was going on, what's going through this guy's head. And it turns out that there are two different kinds of Looners. There are non-poppers, like the guy that she had seen on TLC, and then there are also people that are poppers, which I think is pretty self-explanatory what each of those categories means. This particular subscriber wanted us to like blow up the inflatables. He said that we didn't have to blow them all up, but what we ended up doing was blowing up all of them and then leaving two of them kind of like partially deflated, and we started the video by blowing up the rest of these beach balls and then we sat on top of them and we bounced on them, and then he wanted us to struggle to pop them, which actually it was pretty hard. The inflatables that she got were practically pop proof until we figured out that if you like dig into the seam with your nails that it would work. And even Amanda doesn't have as long of nails as I do, so it was a little bit harder for her even. I'm going to show you us like inflating them and getting ready, but I can't show you us like bouncing up and down in lingerie on these beach balls. But while we were doing this, he wanted us to continue being playful, not like being dominatrixes where we're just like slashing into these inflatables. No, he wanted it to be like fun and playful, as you would imagine playing with beach balls, right? So between talking to this subscriber and then watching the video on Lydia Love's channel, it kind of started to make more sense to me why people have this fetish. If we look at it through the lens of like the BDSM community, you could put non-poppers into like this more submissive category and then put poppers in like the dominant category, or like that's what they like, that's what they prefer, because it like makes sense once you imagine like the imagery of maybe like hot girls in bikinis at the beach bouncing around with some beach balls, like, and then they're destroying them and you're into a dominant yet also playful woman, I can see why people are into that. I'm still a little confused about the non-poppers, although I'm still not sexually aroused by inflatables. For something like this, it's totally harmless. Like, if people have a fetish for inflatables, then they're not hurting anyone. It might be a little weird to some people, but not so much so that it deserves to be shamed. Maybe if you're a popper, you're gonna waste some plastic, so maybe that's bad for the environment. But other than that, it's a pretty harmless fetish that doesn't really deserve the stigma that's behind it, I think. But it was really funny. It was kind of fun too. Like, it's literally just playing with beach balls. Like, we were bouncing up and down, like hitting each other and then ripping these inflatables apart. It was kind of random, but like I said, perfectly harmless. And I love it when subscribers ask me for this kind of content, maybe not like inflatables specifically, because this is the first time I've ever done something like this. But I like it when people have kind of like out of the box ideas, because it will inspire me for future content as well. Even though I don't think any of my subscribers right now are Looners, since I was able to like analyze, well, why do people have this fetish? And I thought about, you know, like girls in bikinis bouncing up and down. And that made me think, well, you know, maybe in the future I could film a video like in my backyard in a bikini with some beach balls, like just bouncing around, because obviously people like the shaking and like having a good time and bouncing around. And also, I've found that outdoor content does a lot better, but on OnlyFans, you can't be nude outside because it's like illegal. It's not illegal everywhere, but just as a rule, OnlyFans doesn't allow it because it would be harder to figure out like if you were doing it legally or illegally. So they just say no, not at all. So sometimes I'll do outdoor content, but I'm just like in a bikini or something. And that's why I like doing these kind of videos, because it inspires me to do new videos, new content. And also that's why I like to create collaborative content. Not only do I get to connect with other creators, which I love to do, especially with people like Amanda, who are super sweet. When you make collaborative content, you can also pull some inspiration from who you're working with. You know, if they have some poses that you like, or they use a filter that you like, or their lingerie. Amanda is incredible because she was like helping me with my poses. If you follow me, you know that I have a small butt. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. So she was helping me like figure out how to pose to make it look bigger. And she was showing me like the filters that she uses on Snapchat, and was telling me about how she uses that because it's easier. And I've even mentioned that in some of my videos before, like how to have an at-home photo shoot. And she has like a bunch of different lingerie options. So I was able to borrow some lingerie from her while we were filming content to put up, and that's going to add a little bit more diversity to my own content. Overall, I thought it was a really fun experience. I got to hang out with Amanda. You know, not only did we film content together, but we also like had dinner together. So it wasn't strictly a professional meetup or whatever, but I am planning on putting together a series where I talk about how to plan, shoot, and distribute collaborative content. So make sure that if you have any questions about that, you leave them down below in the comments, because I want to make sure that all of your questions are answered as I create this series. I know that there's a lot of work that goes into creating collaborative content, and if you've never done it before, it can be a little bit intimidating. So I just want to help you out with that. And I make these kinds of videos every Friday. I'm on summer vacation right now, so I'm gonna try and start uploading twice a week again like I used to. So if you're excited for that, make sure that you hit the red subscribe button down below and the gray notification bell so that you're notified once those videos are up. And then also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, and I will see you in the next one.